Oh,
Hey. Hey, y'all.
Hello.
So, it's my turn to start this time. So, I always kind of have a difficult time getting my words, like how I want to begin, because there's just so much back there. So, over the past month or so, I've recognized something, like I've recognized I've had this lump in my throat. I've been having like a lot of something going on here in my throat area.
Like an actual lump or a
No.
feeling of a lump?
Like the feeling of a lump.
Okay.
And so for those of you who have the knowledge and the understanding of like energy and our energy body, and also like the chakra system, that's not something that everyone is familiar with, but if you have knowledge of that, just having energy centers in our bodies, and I've learned a lot about that, and I do believe in what it talks about. I don't have a full understanding, but I believe that there is great truth in it, and you
vibrations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have an understanding of it to know what I'm talking about. Whenever you have just like if you get nervous, your stomach clenches up. Our bodies experience different things according to whatever we're feeling and experiencing. Traumas, just all sorts of stuff is in our bodies. And so lately I've been having just this lump in my throat, and throughout my life I've had a very difficult time with expressing myself, with sharing things. I've kept secrets. I've had a hard time with my throat, like the throat chakra, if you learn about that. Just have a hard time with expressing myself, with telling people what I need to say, in conversations. I just have a hard time with communication. And so I know that there's just something that has been there. And I haven't quite been able to tap into it, to understand it fully, but it's there. And I've learned something throughout my life whenever I have used alcohol in the past, that it gets me deep into myself. It gets me deep into my emotions. I'm able to tap into things in a very deep way, and I cry and I release stuff, and it's just like it can get intense. Mm-hmm. And so I have recognized alcohol as being a tool to get deep into my emotions. And so over the past month, I keep having this little thought in my mind, that I could, if I would just have a little drink, and then I would be able to get into those feelings, and I'd probably cry and release some stuff. And so that keeps getting in my head. But I know and I understand that alcohol is a poison, that if I were to do that, then I'm poisoning my body, that the next day I would feel sick, I would not feel well. It creates other problems. And so that is not, the best tool or the best solution to tapping into what is within me. And so I'm learning different ways to get into just these things that I know is within me, that I need to process and get out, because I still have a very difficult time speaking what I'm thinking, because I don't want to hurt people. I have a hard time expressing myself, and so I know that is what is going on, and I want it to go away. I don't want it there. I want to be able to speak freely, to say what I need to say. And even if I hurt people, the thing about it is that truth hurts people sometimes whenever we don't want to hear the truth. And so it's something that I'm working through, and I know that the greatest way to tap into that is through meditation. We talk about meditation a lot, and so I've been, and I haven't sat with it enough to, and I need to. I'm going to work on that, and so that I can get to a place where I am comfortable with speaking truth into the world, because I know that is what God is wanting me to do. I know that he's molding me, and he's like getting stuff out of me, and this is just one of those things. And knowing and having an understanding of our energetics and the chakras and just all that kind of stuff, it's like I know it's in my throat and I feel it. Like I literally feel it. And so it's just something that I'm working with right now. I'm working on.
Yeah, one of the best books I read in college was Psychoneuroimmunology, and the way that the mind and the nervous system and everything connects, and it also goes a lot into chakras. And I've studied a lot about chakras and energy work, and I've forgotten more than I know. I do have a lot of refreshing to do. But when you were talking about the alcohol, that's just a pseudo release. Mm-hmm. It is a great way to release emotions, but you're not getting down to the core. What is it that's stuck in my throat? What is it that's really not being released? And the only way to get there is through meditation. And a lot of people will meditate for a few minutes, half an hour, maybe an hour, and they get close, but they don't quite unlock that chakra. It's still locked. It takes a lot of hard work to really get to the point where you are able to get to the source of what it is. For me, like, alcohol just makes me go to sleep. Alcohol doesn't really get me in that emotional state, but if I want to have a really good pseudo release of emotions, a bag of mushrooms will do it for me. I mean, it will. Right. I will feel so much and think I'm having this experience, and then a couple months later, I will need to go back to doing it again. And usually the trip ends with, I'm never going to do this again. I'm sorry. And it's a guilt thing. And that's the same thing with alcohol. I think when you were saying that is, oh, I'm bad, guilt. And then I cry and release all these emotions. But the true source of what is needing to be released and unlocked is still in there. And it's through drugs and drugs, period, that we are avoiding the true source of what it is that our body is wanting to release. Deep stretching, yoga, Pilates, and deep meditation is the way to really get to that source. And in the last 12 months, I've had some deep tissue releases where I cried and was so, I mean, I knew anybody in the house could hear me because they were like real sobbing, like losing your breath, and it was so healthy and felt so good because I was connecting to loss. You know, it's still raw, it's still real. I'm just talking about it because I haven't really talked about it much, but you know, mourning is so important. I never really mourned the loss of my mom because I've been in active addiction for most of, and even when I wasn't using, I was still mentally ill. And you know, I haven't had the experience, but in the last year I've been able to tap into that, and I've felt so much closer to my mom in the last couple of months than I have even when she was alive. And it is being healthy, eating right, and doing all those things that you've talked about, and then implementing the meditation. It might take a couple hours of pure meditation, or days or months, but you go to the bottle, you're just pushing it off.
Right. And that's why I have not, you know, I know that, but it's just crazy the way that it keeps on coming into my mind, and I know that it's a temptation.
Quick fix.
It's a adversary, you know, trying to pull me back into that way of thinking that I'm going to get this quick, a quick fix.
The addict mind wants a quick release.
Yeah.
We don't want to work for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it is work to be able to heal. And it's so important for us to talk. I mean, that's one of the things that I'm coming into, is being able to talk about stuff, because I've just never been able to talk about stuff. You know, I mean, that's just, we come from a generation above us a couple they just did not talk about anything.
They all came back from Vietnam and didn't seek therapy or anything.
Right.
And just kept it all in.
Yeah, and so we just learn to do that, and I love how my children, like I'm able to watch my children, and they're able to express themselves so much and say what they're thinking, and I just love that. I admire that so much about them. I admire that so much about people, and I want to become more like that. And I'm having to overcome so much, like there's it's fear. It's this fear within me, and I know it, and it's hard to get it out. But doing this it's a process, and it is happening. And I love that. And crying is so important. I never understood that. Like, I've always been a crier. I've always cried. I've always been so sensitive to everything. And so tears just flow very easily. But not always. I mean, sometimes like this, like I've got something in there that I feel just needs to be sobbed out. And I know that it will. It's just a process. It's coming to understand what it is. And I know that it is fear.
Yeah, I've always been very emotional, but a lot of it had to do with detoxing, constantly going through that process and the guilt thing. And it's like I wasn't really crying about like true mourning or true gratitude. It was more like just the things that we've been recovering from that I was crying about, like the shame and the beating myself up and I'm bad, and that can cause a person to cry, but there's so much within us that we don't even know is there, that we do have to work for. And I know that right now I could go find what I need to really release a lot of emotions, but those emotions are not, to feel a lot of emotions, but I'm not going to be releasing them.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what it is. You feel it, but you're not releasing
and
it.
I want to feel, feeling and crying, like you said, is so good. And podcasts with Cease that we've been listening to, he talks about all this crying that he did last week. Like, he cried for a whole week, and it's like he's tapping into something, and it's so healthy because we've always been told, don't cry, stop crying, and I've been told that since I was a little kid. Like, why are you crying? Stop crying.
I'll give you something to cry about.
Exactly. And it's like, no, it's so healthy, and it literally releases them.
Yeah.
Instead of just feeling them and keeping them within me, I can allow them to flow out of me, and I can be healed. I can become my body can become healthier, because all those emotions, if you study it, they are locked in some very deep tissues within your body. And the deeper you're able to go into meditation and into yoga, the deeper you're able to stretch, the more you're going to be able to stretch those things out that are lodged into parts of our body that most people just can't even get into. And that's all within the yoga mantras.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it is.
It really is, because I can recognize, I started doing yoga about 4 years ago, and that's really when my recovery began to truly begin. Like, after I had my hysterectomy and after I had my neck surgery, and I was just in that recovery state and needing to do something different, and I started yoga. That's whenever, and then I started learning so much about our bodies and how we store our emotions in our bodies, and our traumas throughout our lives are stuck in our bodies, and our bodies are just so incredible. They really are, and they hold all of our experiences. They hold everything in our lives. And when we have hurt and shame and guilt and pain, and we've got all of these negative emotions, and we don't talk about them, and we just keep them all in, it affects our bodies. It makes us heavy. It weighs us down. It creates issues within our bodies.
Literally kills us through cancer and many other heart disease. A lot of people die from cancer because they're literally holding stuff within them that their body is attacking. Our bodies are amazing machines, and we don't have to hold that within us. I was listening, I sent them to you. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to them, but people can believe it or not, but I really believe that I can fast just about anything out of my body. That my body will seek for unhealthy cells and will seek for tumors and other things to live off of before it seeks for healthy cells and muscle, and my body will naturally cleanse itself through. I mentioned before, I fasted for 10 days one time, a food fast, where all I took in was water, and my body was able to eat some things that just didn't belong in it. And I listened to a guy who fasted. He had cancer, terminal cancer, and he fasted for 43 days off of food, nothing but water and some herbal teas. And there's a lot of testimonies out there. This is just one that I'm specifically talking about. But he knew 2 other people that died from similar issues, that he was being told he should go get chemo and all this stuff, and he decided to fast. And the doctor said that I'm sorry, but I can't find any cancer in you. Those are his exact words. But the body is really just such an amazing vessel that our spirit is in. And if we can let our spirit become in control, it will find those things that don't belong. And it will survive. Our body will survive on the things that don't belong in it. It will literally eat the things out of us that don't belong. We will survive on those.
Yeah. Our body wants so much to live. I mean, we're created to live, and to live abundantly with joy. And so many of the choices that we make inhibits that. It causes the sicknesses. It causes so much stuff just by the things that we take into our body, and by not staying healthy, by not exercising, by not doing all the things that we have been told time and time again. I mean, we all know it, we're told it, but we all have so many excuses not to do it. And then what happens? We get sick, we're stressed, we're overwhelmed, we hit these critical points that life, it causes us to shut down. We have mental breakdowns, we have body breakdowns, we get sicknesses that put us into bed, and then we're stuck recovering, and we're fighting our recoveries because we don't want to be sick, and we don't allow the process of our bodies to just naturally recover and allow our spirits to truly take over our bodies. And that's what surrendering is. It's just allowing our spirit to take control of our body. And when we connect to the spirit, it tells us all those things that we know to do, and it's just, we just have to get out of the way and just start doing it. Stop making excuses. Stop saying we don't have time. If we don't have time to meditate, then we're using our time in the wrong ways. I mean, truly, we've filled our life with too much stuff that's not necessary. Because if we can't connect to the spirit, I mean, you're gonna hit a breakdown. You're just going to at some point in your life.
Yeah, for sure. I've heard a lot of people say that when and it is, the 40 days is a thing in the Bible that is talked about as symbolic for a period of time, and they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. Doesn't mean it was specifically 40 years, but Jesus fasted for 40 days, and we literally can fast off of food for that long and live. A lot of people think it's impossible to live without food. No, you can live for a long time without food, and I'm not going to recommend anybody do it without professional help, because that's a long time. 10 days was a long time and kind of dangerous, because you got to know how to reintroduce food into your body. If you just start eating a bunch of junk, you could kill yourself, and that's true. That's real. but there is a process of reintroduction. But I just love the body and the way that everything is connected. In college, I studied, and I was very blessed to be a TA for 2 years of gross anatomy, where I was able to work on cadavers and actually get in the body and saw a person's skull off and pull his brain and his eyeball. I mean, I was able to experience things with the human body that was amazing. And one of the things that my teacher said the very first day I went to BYU, and he said that the more we learn about the body, the more we learn about our Heavenly Father. The more knowledge that we have about the way the body works, the more that we can know about our Heavenly Father. And that always stuck with me, and I just became obsessed with the body and the way that it works. And it will. Any malady that we suffer with, high blood pressure, if you have high blood pressure, fasting every month for 3 days off of food, it's proven that it will allow your body to eat the plaque out of your arteries, literally, because it doesn't belong there, and your body knows it doesn't belong there. But as long as I'm putting all this sugar into me, it's got all it needs, and it's actually putting more in me that I don't need, and it's storing it in places. But if I'm able to fast, just a food fast, not a full-on water and food, but a water fast, where I'm just drinking water, I can allow my body to naturally repair itself. And there's people that do that every single month for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, a week, whatever. And it's very, very healthy. And our body can naturally repair itself. I believe that, and I believe that the power of belief is very powerful. So,
yeah. I love the body, and I love learning about just our energetics. Just that we are an energy, and I mean that could be a whole other topic, because I mean we know about energy. Whenever we get around people, you could feel how they feel, and I mean if you're sensitive to that, and so.
Yeah.
But I just love learning. I love learning about the body. I love being in a place in my life now where I truly want to take care of my body. I mean, for my whole life, I've just eaten whatever I wanted, and I just never exercised, and I was good, because I mean I was never sick. It's like I was fine, but I have never been healthy in my life. Now that I realize, but I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for my body.
Yeah.
That I am healthy. Getting healthier.
Eating that way is such a heavy life. It's a heavy lifestyle, and it's a low vibration lifestyle, where we are vibrating at a lower level, and we're susceptible to a lot of illness and sickness around us. But if we can work on our diet, eat healthier, think healthier, be healthier, we vibrate at a higher rate. There's a book by Wayne Dyer. If you want to learn about vibrations, there's a spiritual solution to every problem by Wayne Dyer. It goes all into vibrations and vibrating at a higher frequency, and it's an incredible beginner's level book on the way that the body and the spirit are connected, and different ways that we can learn to vibrate at a higher frequency. And I choose to vibrate at a higher frequency.
Me too.
It
just feels better. I mean, it's just light. I mean, light and light. I mean, it's a huge difference whenever I eat something that is heavy. My body just feels it. I mean,
it has to work.
Yeah.
Instead of your body working on staying healthy, it's working on repairing damage that you just did to it. Right. And we damage ourselves every single day when we eat heavy foods, a lot of meat, a lot of sugar, and our body isn't able to take care of itself because it's too busy repairing itself.
Now, that's not to say I don't eat a cookie or I don't eat a steak sometimes, but it's like
steak is good for you occasionally.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm just learning to be more balanced, not just that's all I eat.
It's about being aware of what your body needs, because
Right.
my body tells me when I need a steak.
Mhm.
I know when I'm low in iron.
Me too. I start craving it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
without a doubt.
Mhm.
So if you're in tune with your body and you're in tune with what's going on within it, then your body will tell you what you need
Yeah.
instead of your spirit will tell you what you need instead of my body being in control and telling me what I'm craving. I used to eat so much sugar, and now I don't even, like, my daughter, my 8-year-old, put a little mini Hershey's cup or whatever they are in my face, and she's like, "Eat this, Dad, I want you to eat it." And my first thing was like, no, but then I was like, she really wants me to have that, so I ate it, because I just have not had that desire to eat candy anymore. But opiate addicts, you know what I'm talking about. We can eat some sugar, and it's just so unhealthy. But I just don't have that craving in me now.
Opiates and sugar.
They go together, I promise you that. But yeah, what a great topic.
Yeah, that's just been something on my mind.
Yeah, vibrate higher. You know,
Yes.
your spirit.
Learn about it.
Your spirit wants to be in control. Your spirit wants to guide your body instead of having your body going off all over the place. And you know,
Yeah.
it's not
And our spirit is different matter. Our spirit is that energetic matter. It is that can vibrate higher.
Yes,
You know, it's
that is
our
the
spirit. And it's our bodies that are holding us down. Our bodies are so heavy.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
But the lighter we get, it's just, I don't know, it's good.
Yeah, our bodies were made for this gravity. This on this specific planet. Our spirits are weighed down by this body, but our spirits want to vibrate higher, and I love it. That is a great topic, and I'm gonna get refreshed a lot on yoga and have more to share on that.
Yeah, I love learning about it, and I know a lot of people do not really know about that. You know, so all right.
I want to open that up. It's real. That's where the spirit wants to flow, through the third eye. And a lot of people in Christianity will say these people are crazy, but there is truth in everything.
Language.
It is
just
a different language.
If you know, and you don't have to have an understanding of it for it to happen.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
So, because a lot of people are walking around clear and they don't even understand why or how, or you know.
Yeah.
But it's fun learning the language, and other cultures have knowledge that you know that
Taoism, Buddhism, all these Muslims. I mean, you can find it in so many places. There's so much truth. And it's just a different language. It's all semantics. It's all, what do you call it? And our belief, it is the Holy Ghost, and it is our spirit within our body that wants to be in control. That I want to be in control. I want my spirit to guide my body instead of my body guiding me around down paths that my God would not have me go down.
Yeah.
Great topic.
Yeah. All right.
Love y'all. Have a good day.
Bye.